intellectuals. It's like we don't want it, and they don't know why that is. Why are we?
I actually enjoy talking to you because I love the exchange of ideas that, I may see something one way because I clearly do, and you see something another way. I'm not judging you in this interview. I've judged you online before many times, but I'm not judging you in this interview because I'm actually interested in exploring how you're thinking. But I don't understand how you don't appear to have empathy for the literal Black American lived experience in the hoods that you reference. Because there seems to be like a major either disconnect or not understand. Like, I'd love for you to come to Stockton. I'd love for you to come to District 6.
Thanks. I didn't grow up with money, so actually.
I'm not judging you based
on. Yeah,
on
you don't need to
money.
bring me to those places bring me to places I've already been.
Yeah, but you may have forgotten because you're not there.
It's not about forgotten. It's very much remembering. Okay. It's very much remembering.
Okay.
Je m'appelle Ivy Lee. You're now listening to a Bobby Johnson beat. Hey, my baby tell my savage man beat. I get too far. Rather hold me up on each pink. I need to go.
Tune in to Too Much Media.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is a creative mastery channel where we talk all things creativity and what you need to do in real life in order to self-master so that your creativity can improve and you can see the maximum potential of your creative output. If you're returning, shout out to you, that I'm so grateful for you guys. And yeah, make sure you do all the YouTube things like comment, subscribe, all the stuff that kind of push the channel forward so we can build a small community of other creative people who want to master their creative outlets. So let's get into today's video. For today, I thought it was gonna be cool to just discuss when pursuing creativity, how it is the truth that oftentimes you need to relinquish yourself from the opinions of the masses, okay? You cannot go along with what everyone else is thinking and see your creativity flourish in the way it needs to. At the end of the day, your opinion is not always going to be backed up by what other people think in order to make things that they end up thinking is the best thing ever created. Because if they could think of this new great invention or this new great creative endeavor, then they would be having similar thoughts, ideas, and patterns as you. But they don't, so they can't. So I think that oftentimes as creatives, it's easy for us to be swayed by the masses or like accidentally, misinterpreted when we are trying to explain our thoughts and opinions, which is why we go towards creativity instead, because you can't argue with me about something I just made for the fun of creativity. I can put my own thoughts and opinions and viewpoints on the world in my, let's say, drawing or my TV show or my song or whatever, and you can't argue with me because it's art. It's not supposed to be accurate. It's supposed to be what I say it is, So that's really what the freedom that you get to have from pursuing creativity is that your opinions and the way you think of the world that is not conducive of what the masses are talking about gets to exist regardless of everyone disagreeing with you, right? So due to that factor, I thought it would be a fun video idea for me to just go through some of my own thoughts and opinions that are not agreed upon by the masses, and maybe even science itself doesn't agree upon. But that's the thing about science. It's on another creative outlook, like a creative output. Like if you are a scientist in any way, if you're an engineer, a chemist, a physicist, whatever it is you do, that is creativity in itself, using math and science and knowledge in order to see what new things in the world we can advance in order to see come to life. Okay, so at the end of the day, the fact that science doesn't back your creative thoughts or things that the masses are saying is the accurate way to view things isn't necessarily a bad thing or a wrong thing about your idea or your thought. It's actually proves that you might have more validity than you even think. the fact that science doesn't back you up. Because at the end of the day, if you look at science and you are someone who follows new scientific discoveries, you would know that it is literally constant that new modern day science disproves past science and what they used to say back in the day to be accurate. Before Galileo, they used to think that the earth was flat and that the sun revolved around. Did they think the sun revolved? Yeah, they thought the sun revolved around the earth instead of the earth revolving around the sun. So, back then he seemed crazy, but he was a literal, actual scientist. And they were calling him crazy. So it's like, don't allow like fickle things such as others' opinions or such as they're yelling at you. There's proof. Look at the statistics. In my viewpoint, statistics are ways to lie to dumb people. Like, if you're dumb, you believe statistics. As soon as people start spewing statistics to me, I realize I'm speaking to a low IQ person, and I kind of remove myself from the conversation. Like, I don't need to literally remove myself from the conversation, but mentally I do. I remove myself from arguing with that person in a logical way. Like, that's something I do often. It's like, if I feel as though you're not someone who can like have a logical conversation and it can be like give and take and back and forth, I just start trolling. Like, I'll be in the middle of the discussion just arguing my point in the dumbest ways possible because I don't feel the need for you to agree with me. At this point, I might as well just say whatever I want to say. I might as well just say things that, like, once you give me a tell that I know how to trigger you within our conversation that wasn't supposed to be that deep, we're like having an argument about something like that's kind of dumb and that neither of us can really make that big of a difference on the topic anyway by having this conversation. We're just having the conversation for the sake of conversation's sake. And I see you're getting triggered by me disagreeing with you. Now I'm going I'm going to disagree with you about even the stuff that doesn't make sense for me to disagree with you about. I'm going to troll you until you're so angry that you sometimes people physically want to harm me about stupid conversations. Like, I've literally had that happen. Like, one time when I was younger, I was having this argument with this girl about cake. Guys, literal cake. Who the hell cares? Like, it's cake. Who cares? But we're having an argument about cake because the discussion is double layer cakes. Like when the cake has 2 cakes and in between there's icing. It was a discussion on how do you make double layer cake. So she was saying that the way you make double layer cake is that you make a really big, thick cake and then you cut that cake in half and then you put the icing in the middle and then you decorate the outside, and that's how double layer cake is made. And I was like, girl, no, you didn't know. They make 2 regular cakes and then they stack 2 cakes on top of it, but you have to bake 2 separate cakes. You can't make a big cake and then cut the cake in half in order to make a double layer cake. That doesn't even make any sense. And so when I'm telling you, the girl started getting so angry with me about double layer cake, and I just felt as though the longer we started arguing about double layer cake, the more dumb I thought she was. So I just kept going in about how stupid this conversation was, and no, like, it's 2 separate cakes. Bro, by the end of the conversation, she was trying to beat me up. She started to attack me. She started choking me out. I'm fighting for my life. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting choked. Like, what the fuck? Like, da-da-da-da. Then, what's it called? I'm like fighting for my life. I put my hand up to like, get her off of me because I'm being choked. So I put my hand up. As I'm swinging my hand up to like save myself, my hand hits her mouth. And her teeth, she had braces and big teeth. And so it hit my knuckle. And bro, I was in so much pain, not only from being choked and blinded from lack of oxygen to my brain, but then it turned out that her braces cut my hand. And also, like, my hand started to feel debilitated after a couple hours. Like, I literally couldn't move my hand. And I ended up going to the hospital because my hand started swelling up. And it turned out she had cracked my knuckle with her big teeth. Like, crazy people. Are you really gonna argue with me about cake to the point where you're choking me and crack my hand? I literally was in a cast for weeks. I couldn't move my hand. I couldn't play sports. Like, it was actually like a whole big thing about like, and when I went to the hospital too, when I went to the hospital, they looked at my knuckle and they were like, oh my God. And there was so much, like, it got infected from her hand because the scratch from her braces was like really tiny. It wasn't something where I was like, oh my God, I have to disinfect this and da-da-da. Obviously, I'm thinking washing my hands. I wash my hands, like, is enough to disinfect it. Girl, bro, it was an infection in my hand to the point where they were worried they were gonna have to do surgery on my hand because, you know, in your hand, one thing, if you don't know what the anatomy of a hand looks like, there's super tiny bones in your hand in order to create a hand that can do all the things our hands do. So your bones in your hands are really small. So if your hand gets infected, like, the likelihood of them able to fix it or like get to all those tiny bones that are in there is very difficult. So it was like a thing where they were worried they might have to do surgery on my hand if the infection didn't clear up because the bones are so tiny that if it got too infected, it was going to be super damaging. So they were like, oh my God, we're going to have to monitor you. I was literally in the hospital for like 3 to 4 days. Like, I missed a week of school sitting in the hospital doing nothing. Well, literally when I tell you doing nothing, it's like times like that when you don't go to school that you realize you don't hate school that much. Because at least you get to go see the homies. Like, it's so boring not being in school when you're supposed to be in school, but like at first you don't want to go to school because you're like, please, can I miss school? Can I miss school? You start missing school for a long extended period of time. You start realizing that school wasn't so bad after all. And that's actually an important life lesson to take on into other aspects of your life too, of like, you think that you hate your job or you think that you hate whatever little thing that you do every day is, but whole time, if it went away, you would actually low-key be bored. Like, in the times where, like, I've gone through stages where I don't have a job and I'm, like, just going to school or something like that, or, like, I don't know, like, I just have more free time, I'm kind of like, oh, my God, what do I do all day? Like, oh, my God. That's why creativity is so important to me, too, because it's, like, it allows me to fill up time that would have been so wasteful without it, you know? But back to my hospital story, like, I was in the hospital for like a week doing nothing, waiting for my hand to either clear up from the infection or to find out that it's not clearing up so I can have surgery. So they were like clearing pus from my hand every day from the hole that was where her braces had hit my hand. And it was like they would have to shove it out of that tiny hole and it would like be pouring out pus and blood, and my hand was huge and it was so painful. One thing you realize about a situation like that is like pushing pus out of a small hole in your hand is very painful. Like, because your hand is infected and it's cracked. Like, my hand is broken. And I'm having to like squeeze it every day to clear out the infection. And then I had to also like have an IV attached to my arm permanently so that they could like put fluids and like medication in it to hopefully also help clear the infection, because just pushing it out wasn't enough. And then I was doing like hand soaks where they would like soak my hand in like a bath of like solution or whatever the heck. And then waiting like days on end to see like if it clears up enough, whether or not the surgeon is going to have to book me. I'm like, oh my God, this is over cake, guys, over cake. But that is just to also kind of give you guys an outlook of like a little bit of like my kind of creative way, I'll say, that I go about arguments. It's like, I like argument, like, see, that's why I don't even like to call it arguments. People genuinely want to argue with you about stupid stuff. It's like, no, to me, it's not even an argument in my head. It's like, it's a conversation. That's the creative way I like to go about conversation. To me, conversation is an ebb and a flow. It's like a give and a take. It's like a beautiful dance that you get to like be a part of and like enjoy. You get moments of laughter and moments of like, you know, deep introspection and moments of mutual perspective of outlooks of like, oh, you see it that way, I see it this way. So when I get the sense that somebody is not enjoying the process of conversation that I do, like, I crash out. I just be like, whatever, I'm gonna say what I want now. Da, 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 da. And if you can't even handle that either, I really think like you're a lunatic. Like, you're actually crazy. And so you should be treated as such. So I start treating you like you're crazy by acting mutually as crazy as you, saying things that I know is outlandish, saying things I don't even believe, but it's just like a logical person would understand that I'm too smart to believe that and would just be like, you're playing around now, and just leave the conversation. But since you're not logical, you actually think that and you want to argue with me more, you want to deep into. So to me, I'm not even arguing, I'm just bantering with a lunatic, and to you, you're having an argument. Like, so that's kind of like what I do when I get into those stages with people. But you have to be careful. See, me, I understand how to do that because that's my life. That's my whole life. I've been like this. I've been doing this. This is OG from the roots, from the ground up, okay? I've been doing this. So for me, I understand where I'm getting to that stage where chill on people, because some people are a different type of crazy than others. See, some people are the type of crazy where they allow the argument to happen at all. Because I do feel like you have to be like a little bit to even want to argue with people too much. But the other people are the type of crazy where if you disagree them too much or they genuinely feel like they're right and you're wrong, they're willing to physically harm you. They are willing to beat you up over a talking point that is dumb and that they're wrong about. They're usually wrong. Like, I'm really, honestly, most times than not, I'm right. Like, I be accurate so much. Like, it's to the point where I'm scared for myself of how often I'm right about stuff that I have no business knowing that I'm right about, you know? So it's like, yeah, some people are really willing to physically harm you. So you got to be careful if this is the type of personality you have or this is the type of character trait you want to take on, because you really need to know when to stop, or you need to know to pick your battles and who and when and why you're doing what you're doing, you know? Like, sometimes it's not that fun. Getting choked and going to the hospital for a week, does that sound like I was having a good time? No. But that was a stake I took about cake. Like, now looking back, I feel dumb too. I think that girl was dumb. Like, she was a super unintelligent person. But I feel like the fact that I let myself get hospitalized for a week by an unintelligent person was a sign of my own unintelligence. Like, I was just like, ugh. Now looking back, I'm like, you goofy. You real goofball, you know? But back to that point as well, it's like, okay, so now, why did I even bring up that point? Oh, yes, I was talking about how creatively you need to be willing to know you're right, even when everyone else is disproving you, right? So in that point, like, I literally was willing to be physically harmed just because I knew that I was right, even though no one else. I feel like other people were in the room watching us argue, and they were having an enjoyment watching the argument, but it was kind of like, I know they probably all knew I was right. It would have been as quick as someone be like, no, she's right, let's be done with this conversation. But instead, because they were lavishing in watching me be abused, they just sat there and watched the whole thing happen, even though I was right. So it's like, a lot of times you'll be right and telling people, and because they're enjoying watching everyone disagree with you, they'll know you're right, and no one will back you up. So as a creative, you kind of have to be okay with, one, no one's gonna back you up, and two, knowing you're right and refusing to argue with people to save yourself from physical harm, okay? So these I thought would be interesting for me to go through, like a list of like little creative outlooks that I have about life that helps me with my creativity, that I'm okay with being disapproven by science, by logic, by people's perspective, by people's this, by people's that. The people have a million reasons why I should stop having these thoughts, but I feel as though they help me and push me forward with my creativity, and they push me forward in the way of not having a victim mentality and just being overall the person I am today. And I'm okay with the world considering my outlook on these things incorrect. Like, I'm okay with if someone sits down and says, here's the scientific evidence of why you're wrong. I will still shake my head like, okay, cool. Thank you for showing me that. And keep having the same opinion. So it's like opinions that I have that I'm unwilling to be hospitalized for multiple days about, you know? So it's like, I'll agree with you if I feel unsafe and say, yeah, you know what? You told me, you disproved it to me. You're right. And then I will literally, because you can't enter my mind and literally switch it, then I will keep having my own opinion. So I don't care. Like, say what you want to say, you know? So these are just like a couple list of those type of things that I have that just are not going to be changed for any reason or sake. And honestly, like, I honestly truly believe that all creatives, we should have like a list like this of like certain stuff that everyone agrees upon that you just don't agree with, and you're okay with science disproving you, this disproving you, everyone in your life telling you you're wrong. And even if you know it's wrong, continuing to have those thoughts and opinions, because you need to have those kind of walls built up in your mind in order to properly innovate in your fields, okay? So I do feel like as creatives, this is like kind of the main point I want you to get from my list of like, make a list of these types of things for yourself that help push you forward, that you refuse to switch your mind about, that even if it's true for everyone else, like everyone else in the world, those things, what you guys are saying is true. But for me personally, in my own life, that's not true. Because imagine if Galileo gave up, you know, when they were calling him an idiot and threatening his life and da-da-da-da-da. Like, maybe he didn't walk around and like swear up and down and yell at everybody that, no, the sun is, not revolving around the earth. We're revolving around the sun. Maybe he didn't do that, but he felt in his mind that he was right, and he just stuck to that, and he waited. And you should do that too for yourself, because in one way or another, it's probably true what you're saying, you know? So, yeah, but this is my own personal list. Okay, one of my personal things that I am okay with being opposed about, that I don't care, is that being fat is not genetic. I don't care what people say. Oh my God, everyone tries to convince me of this all the time. Like, no, it's because of genetics. They can't help it. They weigh like this. Oh my God, it's just genetics. Like, they can't even help it. They're just chemically induced to be fat. Like, oh, let's pour them. Like, they don't even eat that much. It's just freaking genetics. Like, they eat carrots every day, and dang nabbit, them genetics just can't stop them from being shaped like an Oompa Loompa. No. It is not genetic. You're fat. It's genetic that you people in your bloodline decide to be fat. That's genetic, that y'all decide to be fat. But it's not like in your blood chemical to be fat. I don't even believe those like diseases that come with being fat are genetic. Like those diabetes and like high cholesterol and blood pressure and I don't even think those things are genetic for real. I think that there are certain things that if you do too often are genetically heightened in your bloodline to receive those things. But I don't believe it's like you are going to have this thing because it's genetically the thing, except for type 1. Type 1 diabetes, I'll give it, okay? Whatever. Type 2, though? Is you cool? Like, no. That's not genetic. That's like okay, genetically in the past, people in your bloodline are prone to eating more sugar than they should. Or genetically in the past, people in your bloodline, if they have more than this amount of sugar or this type of diet, will get this type of high blood pressure or high cholesterol. So what it is, in my belief, is not that you are genetically inclined to have these things, is that your people genetically need to or not need to do certain things to get those things, and you guys haven't tracked and figure out what those things are, so you guys just keep getting it, right? So it's like, genetically, my belief is that you're fat because you are doing all the same things that all the fat people in your genetics in the past have been doing, and you're doing it too. So that's why you're fat. But if you stop those fat habits and those traits and those characteristics that have been keeping all those other people in your bloodline fat, then you would just not be fat. Like, it's because of the traits of what you do. Think about personality, even of like people who have died before like they even properly met their kids, like their kid was recently born and then they die soon after, so they never met their kids, and then the kid grows up, and as the kid is growing up, everyone who knew that parent before they died is like, oh my god, you act just like your passed away parent. It's actually scary being around you. I feel like I'm around them. And you have no clue that what those personality traits were because you never met that parent, but inherently it's like you know how to act like them because of the bloodline, right? I believe that like eating habits and like other habits beyond personality are the same too. It's like, okay, you don't know that your parent liked to eat cake every day, but or your like great grandparents like to eat cake every day, but you also like to eat cake every day. But you didn't know that your great grandparents used to like that, and they were fat, and they like had high cholesterol and diabetes and all these kind of stuff. But you don't know that they used to eat cake every day, and that's the real reason they had it. But you also like to eat cake every day, but you don't like associate that with why you're having high cholesterol and diabetes and you're just like, they had it too, so that's why I'm having it. No, you are just like them in liking cake every day, and you eat cake every day too, and so that's why you have it. It's not because of that. Or like slave times, the slaves always used to eat like chitlins and like all the bad food, like all the foods that like were the scraps for the owners or whatever. They used to eat that, like freaking greasy, horrible food, and they had to do all sorts of stuff like fry the chicken and this, that, and the third to make the food at least taste edible enough for them to eat. And so they were getting all these bad habits that were creating obesity and traits of obesity. But all those same foods are the foods that y'all know how to cook, that y'all know how to eat and stuff like that. So those are the foods that you are genetically being passed on bloodline by bloodline. So you keep eating that. So that's why y'all keep getting fat. It's not because you are genetically prone to fatness. It's because you're genetically prone to habits of fatness. It's the habits that are genetic, not the actual traits, in my belief. And I don't care what you say to try to convince me that fat is genetic. It's not genetic. Because why is there always at least a couple skinny people in the family? There's always some people who are skinny in a family. So if the fat is genetic, how come that skinny person beat it? Because it's not. Next one. ADHD is not a disorder. Okay, they try to convince us that ADHD is a disorder every day. And I see people with ADHD who have a 10,000, who love to have that little, 1-2 anytime they can't do something. I'm like, oh, it's because I have ADHD. Oh, it's because I have ADHD. Oh, it's because I have ADHD. No, ho, it's not because you have ADHD. It's because, what's it called? It's because you're just a bad person, okay? It's like every day, it's because I have ADHD. No, you just ain't shit. That's it. You ain't shit. You ain't never been shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. You just ain't shit. That's what's really going on. In my opinion, ADHD is not a disorder, but it is a mental type, okay? So it's like let's say instead of disordering people of like, this is the atypical type of brain pattern and the way brain should be able to handle life, this is the way, and anything outside of this way, you have a certain disorder, but that we need to figure out, diagnose, and then put you in that disorder and then medicate you or figure out systems that can help you handle the world because of your disorder. No, I believe that how it is that one type of brain that we consider the correct type of brain to be able to exist in this world is just a type of brain that we have made the world match towards in order that the rest of us have to fit into, but that there is other classification of brain types and brain waves that other people have. So let's say like there's brain types, just like there's like body types, you know, they have like endomorph, esmomorph, mesomorph, whatever. They have like different types of bodies, right? I think brains have the same way of like type A brain, type B brain, type C brain, type D brain, type E brain, F brain, and G brain. Let's stop there. Like there's A through G of brains, right? ADHD is one of the letters of the types of brain, and so is like certain other like disorders. Like let's say like, because people like to talk about autism a lot lately. Let's say autism is a type of brain. ADHD is a type of brain. The neurotypical is another type of brain. What's it called? You know, bipolar is a type of brain, not a disordered brain, just a type, right? All these like disorders that you have to go to a physician to go get diagnosed and stuff, I don't believe they're actual disorders. They're just types of brain, but the world doesn't really match those types of brain, so they're considered disordered. But if you match your life around your type of brain in a way to exist where your type of brain can flourish, then it's fine. It's not, you don't have to consider it disorder. I believe that the world is disordered, so we call these types of brains disordered instead of vice versa. Like it doesn't work that way. I think if you have ADHD, you just need you just have like a high ability to change where your attention goes. Like it's just like a high dose of like being able, and think about like in a time period of hunting and gathering, being able to like have your attention switch focus super often is actually really important in a way of needing to hunt or like things like. So if you're in the environment of an ADHD brain thriving, we could consider this typical type of brain disordered. Like in the way they want us to think as a whole society these days, it's like if back in the day when we all needed to hunt was existing, you guys would be considered disordered, but you just happen to conquer the world, and therefore now you're considered the ordered brain, and the ADHD brain is considered disordered. But if the world falls apart today, ADHD people are up. Like they are gonna be up. They're taking over shit. They're conquering everything. So it's like, that's why I don't believe it's a disorder, and I don't care about the statistics. I don't care about, you know, all the articles about ADHD. And the thing is, people with like degrees and this type of stuff, I've literally had arguments about this with people with actual like who work within psychology and all that every day. I've had arguments with them about this. And what I realized with having an argument with somebody who was in that world and literally spends all their time diagnosing people with this, helping people manage their life with this, is that the people who diagnose people with ADHD are crazy too. They are lunatics. They literally are so obsessed with this disordered way of considering brains because it's literally how they thrive. It's how they consider themselves important in the world. It's how they make sure that they feel useful. And it's also, I feel like people who are insistent on the existence of these disorders, it's because they have a direct benefit in other people believing that they're disordered because it makes them feel better about themselves. Like they're the ones who have like the correct type of brain and know how to get everyone else to live their life in this perfect way. And you know, if it wasn't for them, how would the world turn? Thank God they have the correct type of brain so that they could help out all the ADHD people and autistic people and all these kind of people. I think that disordering certain types of brains directly benefit these people in making them feel better about themselves. And that's the real true reason that they'll never tell you is why they consider those brains disordered. They won't let you know that because they need you to continue to consider yourself less than. That's my belief, and I'm holding to it. Another belief that I have that I'm okay with being opposed, I have way more, honestly. I might have to come back and do another video because I would have kept this video going longer and just did like a really long form content video. I do want to start hopping into like making longer videos of me talking. Like, I feel like, you know, getting like a good long section of my train of thought will be really good for you guys and important in your creative journey of like helping you understand the mind of a creative and like how our train of thought works. So I will keep doing longer form, but like today I'm busy, so I don't have much more time than what I'm about to do right now. But if I did, I would have went longer. So I'll probably come back with another video about like creative opinions that I have that, you know, I'm okay with being opposed and like kind of help push me forward in like thinking like this. But yeah, my last one is gay is a choice. I know that is controversial. I know. I'm sorry. I know the gay people swear that they was just born like this and da-da-da-da-da. But I just don't agree. Like, even from a young age, I feel as though when you're a kid, sometimes like even that, like if you made that choice when you were super little, you were just the type of kid who were okay with making a choice and sticking to it. That just shows me more of like your personality type than really of the fact that gay isn't a choice. I feel like it just shows that you have a personality type who is very low maintenance as far as choice making, as far as like you're like low to disagree with yourself or like question yourself. Like, there's some people who are like that. Like, from a young age, they decide they want to be a doctor, and they literally look at Christina from Grey's Anatomy. Like, young age, decides to be a heart surgeon, not only becomes a heart surgeon, goes all the way with heart surgeon, but becomes like the best heart surgeon in the entire world. So it's like some people are like that, where like when they make a decision, they're just okay with the decision being the decision, regardless of the consequences in their life, regardless of all the other aspects of their life they have to change in order to fit it. They just are okay with making a decision one time and standing with it. So like when people try to say like, no, I've been like this since a kid, to me it's like, yeah, that's more of like a statement on your personality type that you're like that than the fact that you knew since you were a kid you were gay. I don't think that that's what it was, because as a kid, you don't even understand much about relationships, sexuality, about how dynamics, like romantic dynamics work. Like, you don't even understand that in depth to understand that what the decision you just made is the decision you made. Like, you don't get it to that point, because even a kid who's straight and decides that, you know, they want to date the opposite gender doesn't understand what they're signing up for when they're saying that as a young age. They end up getting their heart broken. All types of horrible things happen to them for deciding to be straight. So it's like, I feel like it's the same thing with deciding to be gay from a young age. That more tells me about your personality than really about the fact that gay is not a choice. No, I don't believe that. I think being gay is absolutely 100% a choice. You can decide whether or not you want to be gay, and that oftentimes that people who do decide to be gay, it stems from a trauma response. I don't want to go too in depth about the whole gay thing, because I do feel as though in order for me to get my full point across about why I feel this way about gay being a choice, I would have to like talk for way longer. And as I said, I'm busy. I don't have time right now. But if you want that, if you want me to go in depth of why I feel as though being gay is a choice, then I can make another video, comment it. And but let's just, so those are my ones of gay, what are my opinions that I'm okay with being opposed on, and that help push my creativity forward. So if you like this video, guys, please make sure you guys are doing all the YouTube things to push the algorithm forward. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those YouTube things so that we can build a channel of other creatives who are trying to self-master and figure out what they need to do to push their creativity forward, and we can all help each other out. All right, see you guys in the next one. Bye.